By the way, I'll try to see I'll be there. Waiting for you.
He's so annoying. Oh my god.
Card shop.
Anthony Kiedis is so annoying.
Welcome back to Asinine Radio, a weekly podcast where we talk about music, and, well, that's pretty much it. So, let's go!
I almost missed the cue. There.
Can't stop
Oh.
addicted to the shindig.
This life is more than just a read-through. Wow, what a stupid song. My name is Tyler. This is Asinine Radio. This is the weekly music podcast where every week we take a different album from a different artist and we break it down. We dive deep into it. We find out all the secrets and we let you all know about these secrets. My name is Tyler. Way out there, hundreds of miles away, is Jeff. Go to Apple Podcasts. Go rate, review, and subscribe to us on there. Follow us on social media at Asinine Radio. Thank you all for listening. We do have a Discord server if you want to join that. Let us know. We'll send you the link. We also have a phone number if you want to call. Leave us a voicemail. Send us a text. The phone number is 503-893-5307. So get into that. Now, Jeff, what are we doing today?
We are doing the Red Hot Chili Peppers, by the way.
Has sold well over 8 million copies worldwide. What? What are you laughing about?
This band has sold so many fucking albums. It's insane. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's stupid. It's insane. Yeah, it's very stupid. So what is your origin story with the Red Hot Chili Peppers? Go.
The earliest Chili Pepper song I heard was Under the Bridge. Under the Bridge. I don't know where I heard it. I don't know why I heard it, but it was something that I wanted to play in guitar for a very long time. And when I first started playing guitar, it was too hard, so I kind of gave up on it. And I didn't fall back into the Chili Peppers until Californication. So it wasn't until Californication that I really thought, like, holy fuck, Chili Peppers are so good, man. Anthony Kiedis is so tight. Like, everything about this band is so fucking dope, bro. So it wasn't until Californication. And then it really wasn't until, like high school, really, that I really got into this album. And I remember, like, friend of the pod, John, we used to make fun of the way Kiedis sings on fucking Zephyr Song. Good God, I can't even think right now.
Okay.
My brain's all mushed up. It wasn't until, like, the Zephyr Song that friend of the pod, John, and I used to make fun of him singing on the Zephyr Song and just make fun of the Chili Peppers in general. And so it wasn't, I don't know. It wasn't until this album Californication kind of got me into the Chili Peppers a little bit more. But this album is when I really started to listen to the Chili Peppers and then go back and listen to the things that they had previously done. So this was my gateway really into the Chili Peppers, even though I'd heard songs before. And then obviously Californication, that music video, which will live in infamy forever as being horrible. But yeah, by the way. Good stuff.
It is a good song. It is a good song. It's a good album. And so my origin story real quick. The first song I remember ever hearing from them was Suck My Kiss.
My Kiss.
I remember seeing the music video on MTV. This was like right before I really started to get into music. So maybe like 96 or 97. I was watching The Real World a lot. So I think I was through that. Maybe I saw it. I don't know. And I hated it. I thought it was terrible. Fucking hated it with a passion. And it wasn't until Scar Tissue came out, when that video came out, it was shown so much on MTV, and even more so on VH1. It was on VH1 so fucking much. It was so annoying. But that was when I started to like them, and then I actually wanted to go get the CD, so I convinced my mom to go to the store to get Californication. And then I just listened to it a lot. And then as I got into high school, I still liked it, but it was one of those things where I was too embarrassed to listen to it. So I would always hide it in my CD case, like behind another CD, or I'd put it at the back of the CD case so nobody ever saw it. And then I would listen to it like in secret because I was too cool. I was a nu metal guy. I was a punk guy.
Yeah. Because nu metal was cool.
Yeah. So there's no way I could be caught dead listening to the Chili Peppers. And then, this album came out. I wasn't super into it when it came out. The only songs I liked were the singles or the 3 singles, the Zephyr song, By the Way, and oh my God, what is the song?
Can't Stop?
We just played Can't Stop. Yeah. Outside of that, I never really listened to this record in high school. It wasn't until like years later where I actually listened to this as a whole and then really started to like it and really appreciate this band as a whole and the little bit of their career that I had listened to. So that's my origin story. And then a little bit of, my initial thoughts on the By the Way record. So what are your kind of initial thoughts on this one?
So that's fair. Like we both kind of have similar introductions and thoughts where we never really gave them a deep chance because what we've heard in the late 90s, early 2000s has been kind of what formed our opinions on them, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I don't know. My initial thoughts on the album were I have listened to this multiple times. It's been a long time since I've listened to this album in its entirety. But going back to it this week, it kind of reinvigorated a lot of songs that I really, really love from this album and a lot of sounds that I really, really love from this album. And then now that we've been doing like this pod thing for a while, now that we've gone like in this other journey of music, there's a lot more things that I've picked up that I really, really enjoy about this album as far as like soundscapes wise. But then there's also things that I think John Frusciante completely overstepped his bounds as a musician, as a band member. And whether it be like a deliberate attempt or just something that nobody told him, like, hey, dude, you're taking a little too far type of thing. I think there are certain parts of this album that he did take it too far. And
yeah, I would agree.
I think like the biggest beef that came from this album is Flea and John Frusciante. Flea felt he was being pushed out. Flea thought that Frusciante was taking over the band. Frusciante wrote a lot of bass parts and then gave them to Flea to play. And in a weird like turn of events, I guess from what I read, Flea played them instead of speaking up and saying like, "Hey, I don't want to play these because I think I can do them better." Flea played them, and it got to this boiling point where there was like a sit down where Flea and Frusciante had with each other. And Flea aired all of his grievances, and Frusciante was like, dude, I had no fucking idea. I'm really sorry. And he was really apologetic and really super nice about it. And they reconciled, and that's what caused Flea not to quit the band. But I think there's a lot of bass lines on here. There's a lot of songs on here that I think Flea played because Frusciante wanted him to play, because this is some of the bass lines on this album are not Flea bass lines. They are fucking dumbed down alt rock bullshit, they're still good. They're still solid bass lines, but they're not Flea caliber bass lines.
Very true. I'm totally with you. You can hear it on almost every song, that it's clearly not Flea. It's I don't want to say run of the mill bass playing, but when you have somebody like Flea who is he has such a signature sound, and to not hear it, it's very obvious that it was
weird.
Somebody else.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not. It doesn't seem right at all. So, and I kind of looked it up too. So, obviously, at this time, Frusciante was kind of like the dictator of the band, and I looked up to see when the Mars Volta record, "The Last in the Comatorium," came out, just to double check, and that came out in 2003, like mid 2003. This came out in 2002, so a year before this. So I was kind of wondering if John kind of picked up on what Omar was doing with Mars Volta after At the Drive-In, because obviously at the time Omar was very much the dictator of what he was doing musically and really didn't make anybody have any say in the band, and even Flea, because Flea was on Delouse. So maybe a little bit of Omar rubbed off on John in this time period, because he was hanging out with Omar a lot, because at the time Mars Volta had put out Tremulant, but John was also playing guitar in De Facto, So De Facto was playing live a lot, like locally in SoCal, and John was at a lot of those shows playing guitar. Which is, if you ever go on YouTube, fucking look up those videos, because those videos are super rad, because those songs don't have guitar on them, the De Facto songs, but having John play on them, it gives them the whole different kind of like feel. It's really cool. But I honestly think it might be a little bit of because of Omar that John, acted this way about the record. Unknowingly acted this way.
Yeah, 'cause it's not like John's being a dick. He's progressing as a musician faster than these guys have, because they've already been a band for over 10 years now. And so John, being a little bit younger than they are, he is now progressing to where they were for like Mother's Milk era, but now he's at that point progressing faster than they were. And it's I don't know, there's a lot of Omar. I hear a lot of Omar's kind of weird picking that you hear from like At the Drive-In stuffs, from like Metronome Arthritis, that kind of weird like that weird picking all the way high in the neck. I hear a lot of that, just with a lot of different soundscapes, and then mixed in with like a little bit of the funk sound that we can kind of hear from this By the Way album. But Frusciante is taking the front seat because he's allowed to. This is a band that I mean, dude, like the Chili Peppers have been on the verge of breaking up almost every single fucking album they've ever released.
I know, it's
like
ridiculous.
Every single album they release, they're on the verge of breaking up. And now you get this guy, Frusciante, coming in, and every album that he's on, you just get better and better and better. And they know that. And then coming off Californication, which is their biggest album, in hindsight, the Blood Magic Sugar Butthole album is very big, but not as big at the time as Californication was at the time. Like that album, it's blew up.
It is the best-selling record.
It was huge, and Kiedis was cemented as his sound, like his sound, his brand, the shirt off with the jeans, and even like the capris. Like that is now Kiedis. Long hair.
God, the capris,
Even remember the top hat he used to wear too?
He did. What a cuck, man.
Yeah. Awful stuff. And then Flea is now constantly shirt off, and then Chad Smith. Like they are now a brand at this point.
But they had always kind of done the shirtless thing, if not the naked thing, with the tube socks.
Oh, the socks for sure. Yeah,
that was like early 90s, late 80s.
They have been building a brand for a very, very long time, and Californication cemented that brand. Now, By the Way comes out, and now Frusciante is taking a more, in the driver's seat approach to writing music. And it didn't seem like a dictatorship, as more of like, I'm just going to be the team captain at this point. Because everybody still has their time to shine. And everybody still, I like, you can still hear everybody do really, really well on this album, except for Flea. And Flea still has really, really great parts. It just seems like that type of or that lack of communication between Flea and Frusciante led to an album that Flea didn't have a voice on. Didn't have a big voice on, because he still killed his fucking bass parts.
Yeah, there's some great parts. There are some really great parts on this record.
He just didn't have big of a voice as what. And then this is it's like you said, like you have a guy that's a god at playing bass, like one of the greatest bass players of all time, is now doing a mediocre record. For most people, this record would be insanely good as far as bass playing goes, but for Flea, it's mediocre.
Even what he played on Deloused was more intricate and complex and interesting than the stuff on this.
Yeah.
And that was all Omar. Like Omar and Ava Gardner had written almost all the bass parts for that record, and then they gave it to Flea to play that record, and just the stuff that Omar was telling Flea to play was way more interesting and complex than the stuff on this. I think this is purely a John Frusciante record. That's what this is. John Frusciante featuring Anthony Kiedis. That's what this record is.
Yes.
Which is really good. I mean, this is definitely one of the best
fantastic
records. And at this point, I think Frusciante had put out like maybe 6 or 7 solo records up until this point. So he was obviously, I mean, some of those solo records are terrible, but there's some really good stuff in there. So he's obviously knows what he's doing, and he's a learned musician. He understands musical theory, and he just knows he's so fucking talented. And there's even a song on this record where Anthony Kiedis, the lyrics are it's just him praising John and how much of a musical genius he is, and how lucky he is to be in this, how lucky Anthony feels to be in this band and to be able to work with somebody like him.
Yeah.
And to write music with him, which is, I mean, that's a big move for a lead singer.
Or it's a tongue-in-cheek thing about how much he hates the fact that he's taken over this band. And
it could have been, but then you also I don't know if you read this, but when I was listening through all the records and I was kind of reading about their history a little bit, because they have so much shit written about them that I just scratched the surface on this fucking stupid band. But what I was reading was that after Frusciante left the first time, Anthony Kiedis realized that he needed somebody there to write music, because he pretty much couldn't do it himself. He said he was used to writing like an idea out, like a quick melody, and then the song is created from that. So he said when he started working with Dave Navarro didn't work that way. It was the opposite. It was that Dave wrote the lyric, or Dave wrote the riff or the song, and then Anthony would have to come in and then sing the lyrics over that or create the melodies himself, rather than Frusciante and Hillel, where they came in and wrote after Kiedis had done it. So they write around Kiedis rather than the opposite way. Yeah. So that kind of, it made me lose actually a lot of respect for Kiedis when I read that, was that he relied so much on Hillel and John. And then once Dave was thrown in there, it just really threw a wrench in it. And then it also goes to show, outside of the Chili Peppers, Kiedis is the only member who never did anything. He's never done anything musically outside of the band.
He was in Point Break.
I said musically outside of the band. I was very precise with my wording there.
Okay,
yes,
so
he was in Point
like,
Break, and he got his ass whooped in that movie.
Let's just get it out of the way. Your hatred for Kiedis is damn near unwarranted, because his image, I get it. His image is irritating. Him as a person, his voice, the things he says, the things that come out of his mouth, other than lyrics and singing, is a little irritating. He's not a bad singer. He is not a bad singer. When you hear him live from the fucking 80s all the way until today, he's not a bad singer. And the fact that he can be in a band where a guy like Dave Navarro comes in and it kind of flips everything that Kiedis had known as to how to write a song, it gets flipped upside down, and he still writes songs that are really good. He wrote songs before that were really good, and he wrote songs after that were really good. He's not a bad songwriter. I think Kiedis gets a bad rap because of his image, but I also think that he's not a great songwriter, because I think a lot of his songs are just straight stream of consciousness, but he acts like they're deeper than they are. In this record, like, holy fuck, man. Like, reading some of these lyrics and reading some of the descriptions people gave of these lyrics, I'm just like, dude, no, he's spitting out bullshit, and you're eating up like his porridge. It's bullshit. But given all of that, I like Kiedis. I think Kiedis is fucking perfect for this band. He is so perfect for this band because he has a good voice. He can rap. He can go high. He can go low. He can have he at some points he has like vocal fry. And he does like really slow stuff that sounds great. He can do really fast stuff. There's a lot of stuff Kiedis can do, and he does it all at least good. And I think in doing that, it allows their guitarist, because this band is a, and it's kind of a knock to Flea, but this band is a band that relies on their guitarist. Because Flea is so good, because Flea is going to be there to hold everything together no matter what, this band is a band that relies on their guitarist. Because Kiedis is going to be Kiedis. Like, Kiedis is not fucking changed since day one. He's the same fucking guy since day one. Chad Smith, he's not a great drummer. He's fine. He's great in this band, but he's not like great. Flea's, top bass players of all time. But this band is a band that relies on their guitarist. Like, they need a guitarist because, again, all of these things coming together. And when Frusciante comes in and he's a guitarist that this band doesn't even know how to handle, fucking Frusciante doesn't even know how to handle Frusciante. Like, he's doing things that he doesn't even understand why he's doing it. And then we get a record like By the Way. which like on the highs of By the Way, and we're talking Can't Stop is a good fucking song. It is crazy.
It is a really
it's
good
my
song.
3B. It is crazy funk. It is one of the funkiest things that the Chili Peppers have ever done. It is insane. It is based off of a riff, and so let's make a riff and then let's write a song around it. That's some bizarre stuff that Kiedis is not used to, that the band's not used to, but they did it. I don't know who came up with the riff, but like, come on, dude, that is that is unbelievable stuff. It is insane. It is catchy. It is a perfect song through and through, except for the last part, which I wrote in my notes that last part was just Kiedis probably
the worst.
fucking
It's so bad.
irritated you. Maybe the most irritating thing on the entire album for you.
Oh, for sure, it's the most irritating part of the entire record. Yeah,
It's the read through part where he's read through. He's like spitting in the mic. You can feel him fucking spitting into the mic.
Like if it was like one word that he said with no instruments, if it was just his vocals, okay, I can deal with it. But it's like an entire line, not entire bar, but an entire line of lyrics right there of just him a cappella, and it's just, dude, why would you end a song like that? Oh, it's
I will
so
say,
gross.
I will
It's so
say
gross.
too that like Kiedis' his way of enunciating every single syllable of every single word is top notch. Like there's never a time when you listen to the Chili Peppers where you say, what did he say? Like what does that sound like? Like, no, you know exactly what he's saying because of his way to I don't know, enunciate every single word, every single syllable, every single thing that he says. You know exactly what he's saying because of his diction. He's a great presentation.
It's almost
robotic.
As if it's robotic, but it's almost as if he's like spasming when he says certain words, when he enunciates certain words. It's like he's like freaking out all the time. Like he's tweaking. It's like I don't know. It's weird
for sure.
I don't know if that's like has to do with like past drug issues, or that's just like his kind of personality. But then when you see him in interviews, he's very quiet, very subdued, and just very I don't want to say monotone. Well, he's monotone. Yeah, he's monotone. But
no knock to like what anything Kiedis has gone through, but I think Kiedis' entire life is a fucking act. I think as far as a long con goes, everything he has said about like how his dad used to blow marijuana smoke in his face as a baby and how his first hit was like 13. I think Kiedis' entire life is a fucking act. And it's not a knock or anything. I just think he's in it for the long con. And I think that he needs to.
I don't agree with that.
I think he needs to grow the fuck up. I think everything he does is based off of his image. His dad was an actor. His dad was a fucking actor. And like, what better way to build like an empire is to build a brand? Like, brands sell more than anything. Johnny Depp has a brand. All of these, Keanu Reeves has a brand. Even bad actors have a brand. Kiedis, he's a bad actor, but he has a brand. He's a multi-million-dollar brand.
True. Did you read how much some of these tours, how much they made on some of these tours?
Insane! Fuck the By the Way
nuts.
tour.
Yes.
Are you kidding me?
Well, not only even after Frusciante left, like the stuff with I'm With You tour and the Getaway tour or whatever those tours are fucking called.
Dude, the Stadium Arcadium won a Grammy for best packaging. I didn't know that was a fucking thing to win.
But they're walking away on one tour, like maybe 2.5 months, 3 months tops. They're making $75 million, some shit like that.
They're a
on
fucking
one
brand.
tour. You know, even if half of that, okay, so say it's fucking $70 million you're making on one tour, say half of that just goes to the band split 4 ways. You know, what is that, $35 million split 4 ways? That's so much fucking money for 3 months of touring. That's so much fucking money. And it made me think, like, when Josh was in the band, he did the 2 records, he toured with them for 10 years or whatever. He must have made so much fucking money being in this band, when he didn't write any of their big hits at all, but he still made the same amount as the other guys.
Yeah.
Touring. It's absolute fucking insanity how much this band is worth.
I really do. I honestly
make.
think like Kiedis' entire existence is based off of branding. I think early on, if not like when he was like 5, there was a conscious decision by his dad, by him to build a brand, and that brand also unfortunately delves around drug usage, heavy drug usage, and for whatever fucking reason he survived. And how bizarre is it though? Like, how the fuck did he survive? That's what I don't understand.
I don't know if I
how he survived.
necessarily believe it though. Believe the long con thing, because I mean, yeah, I think at this point he's about 60 years old now. He's like the Keith Richards of that generation. You know, he should have been dead a long time ago. But with Anthony Kiedis, I feel like he went way harder than Keith Richards ever did.
But maybe he didn't. Maybe he didn't go as hard as like he claims that he did. I don't know. And like the whole like River Phoenix thing, and with Flea, and like how Flea was supposed to play with River Phoenix at the Viper Room, and River Phoenix OD'd, and Johnny Depp and Flea. I don't know. It's just Hollywood's a weird thing. I think honestly, I think the Red Hot Chili Peppers are a brand, and I think they've been a brand since Mother's Milk. Mother's Milk.
Let me throw this out there for you. This theory out. What if this band, they had put 3 records out, none of them were super successful. Uplift Mofo was, it was slightly popular, but no real mainstream traction right there. And then Hillel dies. And then what if, a label came in, whoever it was, came in and said, if you do this, this, and that, we'll, pay for you to be on the radio, on MTV, and all this stuff. But we're going to have to build your image around this. But we're going to constantly push your guys' music out no matter what, as long as we get full control or we get X amount of, revenue from tours and albums and all that stuff. What if that was the case? Because to go from Uplift to Mother's Milk, that's a huge transition. It's night and day. But not only that, look at how the single of Me and My Friends from Uplift compared to Suck My Kiss and... No, Suck My Kiss and Under the Bridge were on Blood Sex. What the fuck was on Mother's Milk? Higher Ground. Yeah, Higher Ground.
Then the punk rock classic and the O-Town, Crazy Town.
But those weren't singles. So like, what if they had gotten with a label, and then they made a deal with the label saying, we'll do whatever you say, we'll this and that, as long as we can like paint a certain image around. Like, what if they're like the Linkin Park of this era? Because Linkin Park is they seem like a very record label band, like we've talked about in the past, like not a real band. What if I think the Chili Peppers might have been like that.
I wouldn't be surprised in any of the slightest. I think the Chili Peppers are honestly a record label band, and I think that I don't think a record label would ever tell their clients, hey, we're going to give you money, therefore we want you to do what we want you to do. I think it'd be more like, hey, we're going to give you an advanced. You should pick up your check at the fucking Trump Hotel Plaza in New York. And then when they get there, it's full of fucking hookers and blow. And like, what do you think they're going to do? You know what I mean? Like like a record label would never outright say, we want you to do hookers and blow. But if they're there and you do it, then it's on you type of thing. I think... Honestly, I think Kiedis has a brand of himself since like the 80s. And I think the only reason why Kiedis is even good, and I've realized it because of this album, is because of Flea. And I like Kiedis' vocals, I think he's a really good singer. I think he's actually a really good singer. And he can be annoying, but I think he's only good because Flea is so much better at the bass that Flea knows when to hit those higher octaves to supplement Kiedis' vocals, or to hit those lower octaves to kind of like undercut Kiedis' vocals. That's how good Flea is at the bass.
It's possible, but then you have to throw in John, who really supplements the space and the lack of Anthony Kiedis vocally, because he really fills in those gaps with his vocals.
I think on this album specifically, John wanted to do an airy, lighthearted, psychedelic, different album than they've ever done. Kiedis was not having it. Flea could have done a good job had him and Frusciante networked and talked about it. I think Flea could have carried the torch, but for whatever reason, they did not talk about it. And that was like a big thing where it blew up and whatever. We talked about it already.
Which we talked about.
But I think Kiedis is just kind of like, yeah, what do you want me to do, bro? Like a typical like fucking surfer guy. Like, what do you want me to do? Okay, I can do that. And then while Frusciante and Flea were like surreptitiously fighting with each other, and Chad
the art
Smith
guys,
being just being a studio drummer, he just kept up with it all, and it was fine.
Yeah, he's just there for the ride.
Yeah. And again, he's not a bad drummer, but he's not like he's not one of the greats. No,
He's not in the top 100, but he's still fucking great.
yeah.
But yeah, anyway, so let's talk about some of the songs real quick. Because I mean, we could talk so much about the history and our little theories and stuff like that. So Can't Stop, we obviously already played. We talked a bit about the music, that funk guitar played, and how obviously the song was kind of. It seems like the song was written musically, and then Kiedis came in to kind of fill in the little gaps there, which is kind of different from what we were reading, or at least I was reading about the songwriting of this band. But lyrically, what do you have on Can't Stop?
Well, I mean, dude, there's so many fucking
Not a
words
lot.
in this song. There's so many goddamn words in this song, and it's just kind of all over
Every
the place on Kiedis' life, and I don't know what he's experiencing at the moment, or he's been, drugs, relationships, feelings, whatever. I don't know. I think it focuses overall on just being human and making mistakes. There's a lot of experiences he speaks about, and when the bridge hits, he's now like relating the experiences to us, the listener, I guess, and asking like how we would cope with the same problem that he's gone through. I don't know. I there's just too many fucking words here. But
I know his lyrics were hard for me because there's just a lot of word vomit, and a lot of it to me doesn't really connect. And when you kind of hear other people's breakdowns of it, it's either about drug addiction or him being wildly in love with a girl. There's like no in between. There's nothing else, which is fine. But when you throw in 5 or 6 verses, a couple choruses, and that's just a lot of words, man. A lot of different words.
It's just a lot of fucking words, which is fine. And I wish he would just come out and say like, I write music based off of just words that fit the rhythm, because Can't Stop is like the best example of writing words to fit rhythm. Yeah.
And what you said about him delivering like a stream of consciousness, that's the perfect way to describe it, because that's what it is. Because a lot of the times it's nonsensical. I feel like what you were saying too, where a lot of people are looking way too deep into his lyrics, I don't feel like that's right, because it's just him going on and on and on.
Yeah,
it's not as deep as people think it is.
No, it's not.
That's my belief.
Not any of this album is as deep as people think it is. And like, my God, I spent way too much time fucking reading about his lyrics on this album, and they're great and they're cool. But
they sound cool, but
I think that's it. He writes lyrics to make them sound cool, and they do sound cool, and they're fine. But there's nothing deep there.
Agreed.
Like he's a junkie or a fake junkie.
Oh God.
I think he's a fake junkie. I do.
I don't know. It is kind of weird when you think about it too. So much has been written about Anthony Kiedis, but not the rest of the members. Maybe John a bit, but only because John's done so much outside of the band.
John's almost fucking died. He is a junkie that almost died.
Yeah,
like Khalil died. He's dead. Like
and there's physical.
How the fuck has Anthony Kiedis has gone away with like nothing but just a skinny body?
True. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know.
And when I was reading about the Chili Peppers, about the making of every record, the controversy behind the recording of every record, Kiedis was the one. He was essentially like the bad guy, the villain in every instance. He was the reason why the band almost broke up. He was the reason why this record took longer to make. He never showed up to the recording sessions. He was strung out. He was, trying to help Hillel while still shooting heroin. Like Anthony Kiedis, every step of the way is the only member ever talked about. But like you said, for Frusciante, there's literal video evidence of him like on his deathbed. Like that video of him in his apartment after he quit the Chili Peppers the first time. It's it's scary looking. He looks like he's dead.
You can still Google just Frusciante arms, and you can see how
The track
horrible
marks,
the skin grafts that were on his fucking arms. It's
Yeah.
sad.
Dude, it's insane. It's
And
absolutely insane.
again, this is all speculation, and not to say that Kiedis' drug problems are any less than Frusciante's. I don't know. I just personally think that Kiedis is a, I don't know.
I think a
it's
lot
long
has
con.
been-
I think it's a long
Yeah.
con.
Maybe I think too much has just been written about him, and he's not that interesting of a guy. I really don't think he is.
I think that's what the drugs. I think the drugs come in to make him more interesting. I think he knows that. He continues to do it.
All right, so Can't Stop is your 3B, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's my 4B. Do we have any stinkers on this? We haven't even talked about stinkers.
No stinkers.
Okay,
I have
so
no stinkers.
I have 3 almost stinkers, but they're not quite there.
What do you guys
So-
almost stinkers? Go.
I Could Die For You. That's a possible stinker.
Okay.
Midnight is another almost stinker.
Okay.
And then the last one, Don't Forget Me.
Okay.
And I think you know why that is an almost stinker.
All right,
but-
so let's I guess we'll take it from the top, right? I Could Die For You. That's an almost stinker.
Yes.
That is a
Slow
that-
song.
That is my 7B
How is that a B? That
because
makes that's stupid.
because you don't like Kiedis. You don't like it.
I don't
like,
at all.
I
No,
like
I
how
really
he
don't.
sings. I like the pacing of it. I like how it's broken up in the first chorus. I think it's great. I like Flea's playing. But okay, I get it. I Could Die For You. That's fine. We can move on.
But do you don't see the other connection here?
For what? I
Do you
Could
not
Die
see
For
the other
You?
connection here? Yeah.
To which
no,
one?
no. Oh, wait, no. I was thinking of. Never mind. I was thinking of a different song. I'm sorry. Yeah. Okay. I Could Die For You. Yeah.
Yeah. Then
Yeah.
what was the
I
other
thought
one?
you were talking about a different song. Sorry, my bad. So then Midnight, another slow song, boring.
Oh yeah, Midnight.
really go
That's
anywhere.
right after. That's right after I Could Die For You. I thought this song was filler. This is filler
Yeah,
song,
yeah.
but it's pretty good filler. It's pretty good filler. But I
Mm-hmm.
don't know. It's just a lot of music layered, and it's just. This is one of those. This is when I really realized that, like, dude, Kiedis just talks about himself all the fucking time. All the fucking time. Like, this is like a love song, but it's just about Kiedis loving himself. I don't know. Bad. Okay. And then what was the other one? You don't like?
Wait, were you cutting out, or did you think you were cutting out?
I don't think
No,
I was
that's
cutting
fine.
out. I mean, how would I possibly think I'm cutting out? I'm talking.
Well, I don't know. What, I don't know. Because you were cutting out to me, but sometimes when you cut, okay, so sometimes when you cut out,
I-
the way you talk is different. Because I think you expect me to jump in at certain parts, and when I don't, because it's cutting out, you kind of trail off a little bit. I've
Ah.
noticed that. So then when I hear it try to catch up with itself, I could hear your tone change a bit. Your tone changes. So
My tone has not changed except for being disappointed in the fact that you are ridiculous in some of your rankings. That's it.
So yeah, Midnight is an almost stinker, and then the other one that's an almost stinker, very close to being a stinker, is Don't Forget Me.
She said
No.
Midnight and then Don't Forget Me. Well, let's see where Don't Forget Me is. Oh,
It's
dude,
towards
Don't
the
Forget Me
beginning.
is my 4B.
Oh, you would, you fucking gut.
It's my fucking 4B.
Ah.
Okay.
Okay, I'm interested. Why? Let's get into this real quick. Why?
So first of all, I thought this was hilarious because this is the song that fucking Joe would play. And I texted him.
Exactly.
I texted him. I said, dude, I'm listening to Don't Forget Me. Do you remember this? He's like, yeah, it's a fucking fantastic Chili Pepper song. It's a killer bass line. So the do.
Yes, I know. Oh
So-
my god.
So is that why you don't like it? Because it's just, we've heard it 1,000 times.
Well, first of all, it's a very slow song, which I don't think they do well. The other is, yes, I've heard that riff, dude, thousands of times because of Joe. Like, I love Joe, but man, dude, he would play this song
Oh, I still love
so
it.
much.
What's-
Like, it would, whenever we would go practice, anytime we would stop, like us as a band would stop playing, literally the first thing he would start doing is playing the riff to this song. I just that that one riff right there.
It's the riff of the entire song.
I know. And he would just, and then while like all of us were like kind of chatting or talking about what we're going to do next, Joe would just be playing this while we were talking. You know, he would always fucking play this or, what else would he play? Sweet Child of Mine, right?
Yeah.
That was another one he would play a lot just to like fuck with us.
The
fucking bass.
This song is cool because this is very that bass line is very reminiscent of Other Side from Californication, even though it's like a bass / guitar part. But you can almost hear Kiedis coming in with the how long after the Don't Forget Me riff. Like it's very, very, very similar. Very similar. Even like in his timing. But dude, Frusciante's solo is so goddamn cool. It's verved up so damn nice. And it just matches the dramatic, kind of sorta impending doom sound of the song. And there's a couple parts here where Flea does like the Flea thing. And he adds like 55 fucking more notes to the riff in like 3 seconds. And this is where you wonder if it's stemming from him kind of just being mad and doing the Flea thing no matter what everyone else said. And Frusciante said, hey, you should do this riff because this is what I wrote. And Flea's like, yeah, I'll do that riff. That do because it's not a Flea riff. Flea's never done any fucking riff like that.
He's strumming a guitar chord. That's essentially what he's
like. This is like Flea's pissed doing this riff because it's so fucking basic. And so you think like this is a John Frusciante riff that Flea is unhappy about doing because they didn't hash out their differences until after the album came out. So I don't know. It's a cool fucking. I love this song a lot. It's my 4B. My 4B.
Okay. This is very much a very a very bass and vocal driven song. There's some cool underlying guitar playing. If like you really kind of paying attention and listening, you can hear some cool stuff layered in there below the surface. But dude, that bass riff is just so loud in the mix, and it's the entire song. It's the entire fucking song. I wonder if Skip knows how to play this song.
I'm sure he does. I think every bass player probably knows how to play this song because this is probably like the bass equivalent of like Iron Man or Crazy Train or fucking Smoke on the Water or some O-Town, or O-Town.
O-Town, yeah. Dude, I can't. I totally forgot this song was on the record. So when it came on, I was just so caught off guard that I stopped the song and I was just laughing, and I couldn't decide whether or not I wanted to listen to the rest of the song. Like I really was thinking about not listening to the song because
you gotta.
I've heard that riff
memories. It's the best memories.
I mean, it was so much fun. Yeah, it was so much fun. You know, just fucking around and jamming. But damn, dude, fucking Joe, man,
so good.
It's so funny. What a knucklehead.
What is your 1B?
What do you think it is?
I think it's Zephyr Song.
Oh, it's 100% the Zephyr Song. Yeah.
That's my 1B too. It's hard not to choose Zephyr Song. It's so
this is their
stupid.
Second best song.
It's so over the top. This is the only time where I also think Kiedis is so over the top that it works.
Yes.
That's it.
He sings in a higher register in parts too. It's something he doesn't do a lot. He's generally pretty much monotone in his vocals, but every once in a while he'll throw in like a high part. I don't want to say it's not falsetto at all, but it's just a little bit higher than he normally does. And this song is one of those, and it really gives the song a lot of character. And I do praise him a lot on this song, which I don't do because Kiedis is not that great. But in this song he is. And then on top of that, you throw all the electronic sounding stuff in there, and man, this is a fucking banger of a song. It's unbelievable how good the song is.
It's fucking perfect. The intro is fantastic. It's soft. It's angelic. Frusciante's riff under Kiedis, dude, it is so good. And then Flea slays it. Him and Frusciante doing their own thing at the same time, right? But it's a little bit different. It works so damn well. And then my favorite part of this whole thing, which is just, it's so amateur.
I hope it's the same thing.
It's so basic. It's just the transition that Chad Smith does to the chorus.
Oh, okay. I thought you were going to say something else.
That is it.
Okay.
That's my favorite part.
that part obviously is really awesome too. But what I thought you were gonna say is, after the bridge part of the song, it goes back into the choruses, but then, the first beat into the chorus is like that electronic cheer sound, like crowd cheer.
Yeah.
But then Frusciante's doing those harms behind Kiedis. Oh my God, dude, the song is perfection in how basic it is.
Yeah.
It's just unbelievable how good this song is. And there's so much layering with his guitar playing, and there's so much going on, but it's never up front. That's like the genius behind Frusciante on this record, is that he never throws his guitar playing up front. You just have to really listen and hear the dynamics on both sides of the mix, the stereo mix. Dude, this song is fucking unbelievable. This is the second best Chili Pepper song ever.
Damn.
This is without a doubt. Right on Time and Zephyr Song. Two best songs they've ever written.
Those are big words coming from me, because to an untrained ear, this is a very annoying Chili Pepper song. Kiedis can be very annoying, and we've made fun of Kiedis since like the day this came out.
Yeah.
That do 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 do, like that type of thing. We have made fun of him still to this day.
Yeah, absolutely. You can't help but not do it.
Yeah. It's like a weird melodic scat thing that he kind of does, but it's just dumb.
And this is also one of those songs where John's harmony is some of the best he's ever done. Outside of Right on Time, the way he harmonizes with Kiedis, because his voice is so high that it's just this perfect balance of a low and high. And dude, Frusciante is just an unbelievable songwriter. He really, truly is an unbelievable songwriter. He's great. One of the greatest of all time.
I agree. Well, songwriters?
All
time?
Well, when you take Kiedis out of it, if you listen to these songs outside of Kiedis, yeah, these songs are like beautiful sounding songs. They're absolutely amazing. But it's Kiedis that ruins a lot of it, man. I'm telling you, it is.
He doesn't. He's fine. Your hatred for Kiedis is exponentially more than it should be.
Fine. I don't.
You should think he's annoying at most.
I think he's a really great frontman, without a doubt. Great frontman. Not a good singer. Not a great songwriter.
So I think like the opposite. I think he's a great singer for the band. But as a frontman, I think he's fucking annoying. I think he ruins his band as a frontman. I think he hypes his band up in a way that makes the band seem like a joke, like cartoonish, because he's cartoonish. He's a good singer. Because if you listen to him live, even still to this day, he's a good singer.
He sounds the same as he did, but I wouldn't necessarily say it's great.
It's not great, but it's good. You hear a lot of these guys that sing like live, and they're like, damn, you sound bad.
Well, it's because the bar is so low with Kiedis. So it's like what did Vince Vaughn say in Dodgeball? He said, just keep your expectations low. That way you'll never be disappointed. That's how Anthony Kiedis is.
Damn, is that what he said in Dodgeball?
Yeah, it was in Dodgeball. Yeah, it was something a lot. I might be paraphrasing it, but yeah, he said that in Dodgeball. He said, I keep my expectations low, so when I am disappointed, or he said, so I'm never disappointed.
Damn, because that was in the new Spider-Man. That was what MJ said. She says,
was it really?
Yeah, like something almost damn near verbatim to that. And it was really good the way she said it, but now I don't like that.
Well, the way Vince Vaughn said it, Vince Vaughn is he said it much better than I did. And then it was the scene where what's Ben Stiller's wife's name? Forgot her name.
Yeah.
But it's when she goes over to his house and she's like looking through all of his receipts, and then that's when he tells her that, and she says something like, "Oh, I feel really sorry for your way of thinking," or something like that. And he kind of like shrugs it off. But
I just can't believe that Ben Stiller and his wife could be in the same movie together, and Ben Stiller play a character that is so stupid, so pathetic in front of his wife. How do you go home and like talk about the day? You know what I mean? It's so bad.
True, yeah. That's very true. I love that movie, man.
Bad.
What a great movie.
Fantastic movie.
And then, so back to Zephyr Song. I feel like this is probably the first time they've ever really dabbled in electronic stuff, like really dove into the electronic stuff. And with an electronic, this is kind of like an electronic beat at the beginning and during certain parts that was never really touched upon again until The Getaway, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, absolutely. That's why I love The Getaway so much, is because, I mean, that's the most un-Chili Pepper album they've ever done. But that is when they dove into the electronic sound without relying on computers. They did it themselves, but there was still the electronics there.
And that's exactly what this song is like. And I wonder how much of it has to do with Rick Rubin, because obviously Rick Rubin didn't do the Getaway record, but I wonder how much John wanted to add electronics to it, but then Rick pretty much said no.
And this is still John's still pretty young at this point. So even though that he has some time under his belt, he has some recordings under his belt, he's still a pretty young dude. And Rick Rubin is still a pretty seasoned veteran. And so no matter what, no matter how hot you think you are, a seasoned veteran can still talk you out of the ideas that you think that you have.
Yeah, it's true.
And so that would make sense.
John might have been like our age when he made this record.
Which is still pretty young, considering that Rick Rubin had fucking already done BC Boys in like the 80s. Like, come on. Like,
the BC Boys, Slayer.
Yeah.
What the fuck else? I mean, he's just done... I mean, in the 90s, he did so much. I can't even think right now.
He's got like 20 years on Frusciante as far as like report card goes.
Yeah.
So it makes sense. It makes sense. Zephyr Song 1B, easy peasy, lemon squeezy.
Let's play a little bit of the Zephyr Song. I'm not even going to fade it. I'm just going to start it from the beginning. Here we go. There you go. The Zephyr Song from the Red Hot Chili Peppers. Ooh, what a banger. What a fucking
so
banger.
Catchy too.
It is. And anybody listening to the podcast right now, go to don't just listen to these songs on the podcast, go listen to on a stereo mix, because what you're listening to now is a mono, but you got to listen to this record, with earbuds in or headphones, whatever, just to hear the nuance of it all. It's a beautifully crafted record and just a great song. This is just a great song. So
I like Frusciante's kind of ambition in how clean his guitar tone has pretty much always been since he's been with the Chili Peppers. How he doesn't need to ever hide behind distortion or effects. How even especially in this song too, it's just how clean he's okay with hitting those notes. And how great he is as a guitarist. Because we talk about how great guitarists are, but a lot of times, like Navarro, who we've never really heard outside of just like distorted metal guitar. We've never heard Navarro play like clean blues, so we don't know how good he is. Like Frusciante, he was 100% not afraid to ever do that in the Chili Peppers.
He's that fucking good. That's what it is.
That confident.
Yeah, that confident, that good. It's remarkable. His tone from the very beginning has just been top notch. It really, really has. With very little distortion or overdrive or even very little effects up until this record, really, because even on Californication, he doesn't have a lot of effects. And on Mother's Milk and Blood Sex, there's some reverb and some wah stuff, but nothing crazy. It's not until this where he really buckles down and gets experimental. And a lot of that, I think, is due to his relationship with Omar from the Mars Volta and At the Drive-In, because Omar is, at the time especially, was known for having 2 levels of pedal boards. That's how many, 20 pedals on each level. That's how much shit he had on stage. I think he was kind of taking a lot from Omar at this time.
Yeah, and it makes sense because Omar, I mean, that amount of pedals is to the untrained ear is now making it indistinguishable from a computer.
Yeah.
But songwriting skills, whatever. But Frusciante seeing that and thinking I need to make a name for myself, so this guy has 20 pedals. Let me see how a clean guitar sounds through just a nice vintage amp that has a little bit of distortion on it. And that's what the solo sounds like in the Zephyr Song. It sounds like a clean guitar run through, what I have is an old 70s PV amp that has a little bit of distortion to it, a little bit of gain to it. And that's what it sounds like. And it sounds like a guy who's kind of starting over, who's resetting who's making a name for himself by taking it back down to basics. But that's not something you do 10 years into your career. That's
True.
That's something you do like when you start off. And then for Shante to kind of, I don't know, humble himself in that aspect is it's fantastic.
He still does experiment, but he experiments a lot with pedals too.
He experiments a lot on this record when it needs to be experimented with. The Zephyr song, the solo, when everyone's expecting a solo, and he goes the beep, 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 that solo, and when he dumbs it down like that, when everyone's listening, when everybody's watching, like that's what makes a great guitarist, is someone who says like, hey, now that you're all looking at me, check it out. I can do it without anything.
Yeah.
And
it's like when it counts the most. It's when it counts the most and it's the most flashy, he'll dumb it down and strip it down. But when to texturize the song and fill in the gaps in the space, that's when he throws in all these the different pedals and different variations. But I agree with you. When he's doing the soloing or doing like the main riff, it'll generally be pretty clean and not a lot on there.
For guys like us,
Tom Morello.
Yeah, no, for sure. Which tell you he's still a really good guitar player.
Yeah,
but
it's not knocking Tom Morello. He is amazing.
But for like guys like us who are listening to like the entire song, the soundscapes that he's using, we are attaching ourselves to like 85% of it and thinking like he's so great, he's amazing, I love it. And then when the solo comes, generally we kind of taper off and think like, okay, here comes the solo. And then that's when a normal guitar player would ramp everything up and accelerate the overdrive and put it into high gear for all of the fair weather people. And that's fine. But the way he dumbs it down, it captures those fair weather people, because the fair weather people are kind of like, oh wow, this is a little unconventional. But then it even more so captures us, because we're thinking like, holy shit, this is the complete opposite of where I thought you were going. This makes no fucking sense. Like this is, nobody does this. Why are you doing this? And why does it sound so fantastic?
And we all know full well that he can shred if he wants to.
Of course he can. Yeah, absolutely.
He did it in the early days. Like he was very well adversed at shredding. He could easily throw out like a Jimi Hendrix song and make it sound amazing. But
he can squeal, he can shred, he can bend, he can slide, he can do what the fuck he wants to do.
Even like on a song like Scar Tissue, the amount of sliding he does on that song, and how just like, I mean, take Kiedis out of that song, like how just beautiful his guitar tone sounds and his playing sounds. Like it's absolute perfection. Just that song stripped down is just fucking amazing. Damn, man, what a fucking guitar player. What a fucking songwriter.
What a guitar player. What is?
Have you ever heard his solo record, The Empyrean?
I don't think so. Did you get that one on the vinyls?
No, I've wanted it for a while, but it's expensive.
Maybe I haven't heard that one then.
But it's dude, that record is fucking amazing. I think it came out right after Stadium Arcadium, or like right when Stadium Arcadium did. And it's dude, it's fucking so good, man. Oh, you know what? I did bring one song to the pod like a couple years ago. And I know you really liked it. You really liked it a lot. But that album as a whole, I think now that we've done this week with Chili Peppers, I think you'd really like that record, that solo record. It's so fucking good. The Empyrean. Check it out. Everyone check it out if you haven't already.
I mean, I've heard a lot of John stuff, and John's done a lot of stuff in like the Ataxia stuff that he did with Josh. Like he's just done a lot of really, really cool shit. And he just seems like a really, really cool dude that's gone through some really, really horrible shit. And I don't know. I've never read like an interview or seen him in anything where he's not just been like, yeah, I don't know, I'll move forward type of vibe.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I'm still here. I'll move forward.
It kind of makes me wonder,
dying like several times.
It also makes me wonder why you don't like that Frusciante and Omar record, that acoustic one that I love so much.
I know, honestly,
it's probably because I like it so much. That's probably why you don't like it, because I like it so much.
It is quite possible, but damn, like the last time I listened to it was last year around this time, and I It's dumb.
Just couldn't do it. You just couldn't
It's
do it?
just dumb. I don't understand it. It's just dumb. It's just stupid. That's
I mean, you
dumb.
want to talk about stripped down. I mean, it's
No,
fucking
it's-
stripped down.
That is dumb. That's fine.
Man, I love that record. That's my holy grail. That is my vinyl holy grail right there.
It's not like Dashboard Confessional stripped down.
Oh, it's
but
like-
it's, yeah, that's fine.
100% better than Dashboard. Woo. Anyway, so what you were about to say something.
What
and I
is
don't remember what.
no? That was so Zephyr Song is both of our 1Bs.
Correct.
Are we doing 2Bs now? What's
yeah,
your 2B?
what's your 2B? No, what's your 2B?
Oh, my 2B. You want your
Yeah.
2B?
No, your 2B. Don't
2B 's
don't do this. Okay.
My 2B is Cabron, baby.
That's my 2B too.
Oh damn, Gina.
2B2.
This was funny
So
because I had completely forgotten about this song for damn near a decade.
Yeah.
And this was a staple. Friend of the pod, John, loved this song. I loved this song in high school.
John
Dude, John loved this song
What?
because it's Cabron, and we just say Cabron, Cabron, and the way Keita sings it though, with the rolling the R's. Oh, it's so
Yeah.
janky. Cabron. It's so bad. He sings it awful. But I love this. I love the heavy bass. I love that the bass like in the drums just drive this song forward. Love the strumming. Love the picking. Love the sound. This is, dude. This is like one of my best. This is one of my favorite Frusciante songs on the album because Frusciante comes in and it's so great and it's awesome. But then he hits a solo, and the solo is so like slide. And it's just like this weird country twang with Spanish shit thing going on. And it's, I don't know. But then even like the picking, the do it's just, it's janky, but it's almost to the point where it's like janky enough to be bad, but it's not quite there. It's just everything about this is very wholesome. It's very real. It's very, as Feldman would say, first take, best take type of feeling to it.
First thought, best thought.
First thought, best thought. There you go.
Yeah.
I think the song is absolutely fantastic, and it's I don't know. It's got a sloppy edge to it.
I wouldn't say sloppy, but I feel like it was very. It was very. God, first thought, best thought. It is very much that, but I wouldn't even say sloppy because John is too good to make it sloppy.
If you listen to like good flamenco guitarists, like that ding 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 ding, you can hear. I mean, maybe I'm just comparing him to like Sabicas or like Django or anybody else that's iconic. So that maybe that's not even fair to Frusciante. Maybe that's not. Maybe that's even more fair to Frusciante that I'm comparing him to like the greatest flamenco guitarist of all time. But I don't know. Just hearing him pick every single note, and you can hear when his fingers are transitioning into the next note. And I mean, yeah, you're like Django Reinhardt. Like that's maybe
it.
Frusciante would be super excited that I'm comparing him to Django Reinhardt, but it's. I guess I'll stop there because that's not fair. That's not fair.
But I know what you mean though. It's those clean single notes that he plays straight into the chord.
Ding ding
Doom doom doom. It's almost that ding 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 bum bum bum. It's very like Metallica. Like if you strip down Metallica to the most acoustic way you could, that's a Metallica song right there. It's the high part with the dun dun dun. It's like Master of Puppets, you know.
Like Seek and Destroy too is kind of like the same way.
Seek and Destroy, yeah. It's very much that way. If you were to strip down certain Metallica songs to the most basic level, that's kind of what Cabron is. But dude, I just like you said, he's such a great guitar player that you can hear every single note he's playing just absolutely perfectly. There's no fuck up. Like he's not like missing the fret just a little bit, so you hear a little bit of like a ring or like a dead note or anything. Yeah, you hear no buzz, you hear no dead notes. There's nothing. It's all just perfect. Like it's pretty crazy for a guy who's never shown any sort of inclination toward flamenco guitar or any sort of Spanish guitar, and you hear this. Like it's pretty I mean, I think it's pretty basic, but he's done it so well. And dude, this song is just so great. And even Kiedis doesn't even bother me. Yeah, the lyrics are kind of cheesy, or actually very cheesy, but it just adds to like the I guess kind of the care lyrically it's very carefree in a way when you mix it with the music. I mean, lyrically, from what I understand, this is about like his criticism of like gang violence in LA, but I feel like it's done in a very carefree way. Like, let's like stop being, let's stop the violence and let's just have like a good time. Let's have fun. Let's like love each other. And I feel like this song really pushes that, his feelings,
Yeah.
I think this is an amazing song. This is my 2B. I mean, like you, this is my 2B.
It's an amazing
This is
song.
such a great song. It
I-
really is.
My only problem is the way Keita says Cabron. I think it's so irritating. It's so gringo. It's so whitewashed. It's so so forced.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Like, there's no reason why he
verses
can't just say
make up for it.
Cabron. Like, Cabron. He's Cabron. It's just a little bit the extra R roll as it bothers me.
He tries a little hard on that one.
Ugh.
All right, so I'm going to play a little bit of the song. So here it is, Cabron from the Red Hot Chili Peppers. There you go, Cabron from the Red Hot Chili Peppers. So normally flamenco players, they play with their fingers, right? Like they never use a pick, right?
Yeah.
When I'm listening to this song, especially right now, it kind of sounds like he is playing with a pick. Like he's not doing
Oh, he's
the
for
fingers.
sure playing with the pick.
Yeah, it's way too sharp of a sound to be playing with his fingers. Like it's
I think
too precise.
I think that's because he doesn't want to be a flamenco player. He wants to be John Frusciante playing flamenco sounds.
Yeah,
And
that makes
and
sense. That makes
and that's fine. And that's why you get a lot of the silences in between each note. Because
Yeah,
like a good
yeah.
flamenco player is going to start and stop each note as each other is playing. And so like you hear like Sabikis or Django Reinhardt, you hear these guys that are playing notes and then one note is starting at the same time the other one is stopping. So there's zero, there's no downtime. There's no downtime.
Yeah.
And in Frusciante's playing, you're getting downtime. But I think Frusciante's so damn good that he knows who these players are. Or maybe he doesn't. I don't know. But
Oh, he
he's
does. Come on.
I mean, who knows? Because there's prodigies out there that will play really, really good instrumentation without knowing the backstory of said instrument.
I guess to an extent, but he's too well versed. There's no way he doesn't. I think that's too close to silly boy talk.
I don't know. It's possible. I don't know. Frusciante's so fucking good. It's stupid and it's annoying.
It's not fair.
And I think those silences in between each note is deliberate, and he uses a pick deliberately because this band is not as good as Django Reinhardt. Had he played a smooth, fluid flamenco style, it would sound weird. It would sound weird with the cabron.
It also, I think flamenco tends to be played on nylon strings, and this is not nylon. Nylon strings don't sound like this. This is definitely a steel string guitar, so I think that adds to like the abrasiveness of it as well. And on top of that, he's hitting those notes and those chords really hard.
Yeah.
Like it's like he's like blowing it. Like they probably had to turn down the mic because he was blowing it out. Because he's hitting that shit so fucking hard.
Yeah, that's his style of like trying to be like one of the greats, but not sacrificing his need to want to be heard.
Yeah,
which is which is rock and roll, which is so cool. like rock and roll is made. What was that Skrillex thing? Like none of these are musicians because no one can play the guitar.
Guitar. You hear the guitar fade out. Yeah.
Like rock and roll is made to be annoying. It's made to be in your face. It's made to be fucking. I don't know. Fucking. The punk is made from rock and roll, right? I don't know. What word am I looking for here? I don't know what word I'm looking for here. I'm looking for a word. I can't find it. It's made to be annoying.
What?
It's made to be annoying.
It is. It's meant to push boundaries and push the social norm. That's what it is.
Yeah.
And I also love the recording of his guitar too, when you can hear his fingers slide up slide up and down. Oh my god, dude! I love that sound. It's just enough to just give it so much character, but not be annoying. Like sometimes you'll hear a guitar player play an acoustic song and you could hear his fingers or her fingers slide up and down like constantly, and that can get a bit obnoxious, but there's just enough here to just perfect it. Dude, the guy is a fucking genius. He really is.
Frusciante really, Furley was a genius. The only thing that he could not do was open up and be a bandmate to Flea and let him know his direction, because again, like everything I read about this was Flea was pissed and Frusciante had no idea that he was pissed until after it was done.
He even contemplated leaving the band.
I know. I know.
Crazy.
He not like just like Flea didn't just contemplate. Like he was set. He's like, I'm fucking done with this band. And then Kiedis was the one that kind of like convinced him. And then there was this quote that I read like from Flea that said the only reason why I didn't leave the band at that point was because I didn't have the heart to tell Anthony. And that's that's why I feel like Anthony would be nothing without Flea. Absolutely nothing without Flea. And honestly, the Chili Peppers would be nothing without Anthony, because Anthony is a very unique style of person, of brand, of singing, of everything, of just bringing everybody together, even though he's not the best part of it. But like the Chili Peppers are Anthony Kiedis, essentially.
It's so frustrating because you're right.
It is.
And I hate that. And I know you hate it too.
It's annoying. It's annoying. It's very annoying, but like everybody loves Kiedis. Everybody loves Kiedis.
Well, some people do. Enough people.
Everybody but you. Everybody but you love Kiedis.
Enough
it's
to the point where they make $70 million on one tour
each.
Annoying.
It's just like, I don't know what could have been had Frusciante and Flea worked out things and I don't know, communicated with each other and wrote songs together and I don't know, just done really well, because Flea was ahead of his time. Like Flea was fucking fantastic. Flea did the Mars Volta thing just as good, if not better than Frusciante did before he did it, and that's fine. And Frusciante, I don't know, Frusciante could have learned a lot from Flea, and Flea could have learned a lot from Frusciante, but they boxed each other out because of probably Kiedis, honestly. Because I think
Frusciante did learn a lot from Flea, at least at the beginning,
but it was
during the Mother's Milk era.
But it was quietly. Frusciante's a quiet dude. Frusciante's a quiet dude, and Flea's kind of a quiet dude also. And so Kiedis could have been the front man. If Kiedis was a fucking front man, he could have been like, "Hey guys, I can see that this rift is separating us. Let's do something." But that's why Kiedis is not a great front man. But he's a good singer, but he's not a great front man. It's because he cannot even see what's going on in his band.
I see. I think the complete opposite of what you just said about Kiedis.
Kiedis should have known, dude. Kiedis should have seen this. How do you not fucking see this? How do you not see that? Like
Kiedis probably does, but he knows he doesn't have the talent to keep the band going without Frusciante. So I feel like Kiedis would rather sacrifice. No. I feel like once Frusciante left the first time, and then Dave Navarro came in, I feel like at that point, Kiedis understood that he is like the band is nothing, or he is nothing without Frusciante. Like he would have easily given up Flea for Frusciante. Without a doubt, he would have given up Flea. At this point in time, during By the Way, if Flea said that he was going to leave, Kiedis would have been okay, whatever, because Kiedis wrote the songs, wrote the lyrics, wrote the melodies with Frusciante, not with Flea.
Oy.
So he has to choose his career, his livelihood.
That's a question. Now that is a question. Let's take one hot minute, right? Let's just take one hot minute, just for a quick minute. One hot minute. Okay. Do you think the Chili Peppers could have survived without Flea or without Frusciante after one hot minute?
after One Hot Minute?
Yeah, let's.
Well, they had already lost Frusciante.
but Frusciante's coming back, so we know what happens.
Oh, okay.
After after Dave Navarro leaves, so we know what happens.
I feel like at that point, it would have been, they would have still been successful had Flea left and Frusciante came back, but not as successful because Californication was such a massive hit and such a huge departure from everything that they had ever done. They needed Flea and Frusciante at that time, but it would still have, I still think it would have been very successful had Flea left and Frusciante came back. But then by the time they did By the Way, it goes to show Frusciante does fucking everything at this point. And they made this amazing record of By the Way with pretty much without Flea. So had Flea left, the band still could have gone places, because even on Stadium Arcadium, there's some great Flea parts, but there's nothing on Stadium that can even compare to Californication.
But don't forget, like Kiedis' attachment to Flea, like his emotional attachment to Flea.
No, there is. But then also when you look at the history of the band, after Stadium Arcadium came out and Frusciante left, remember the band took a break, like a 2-year break. And during that time, Flea intentionally went to music theory school because he was so...
he wanted to be a teacher. He wanted to teach at like a collegiate level.
I think it was also because John Frusciante was known to be so so knowledgeable in music theory. I feel like at that point, because Frusciante left, he wanted to fill that void that Frusciante had left. That's what I think. I think part of it was that. And that's not a knock to Flea at all. I think he was trying to make himself better to fill the void of Frusciante. Even though Josh is a great guitar player, he's not Frusciante.
No.
So there's going to be a gap. There's going to be a space there that needs to be filled, and that's why Flea decided to learn music theory so he can do that. That's my theory and my idea on that. But whatever. What do we know? We're not in the Red Hot Chili Peppers.
We are in the Red Hot Chili Peppers as of now.
I mean, honestly, we do know almost everything. But anyway,
we know more than Halil.
Oh no!
Is that bad? Is that not a good taste?
Oh, let's talk. Let's step back and talk about Anthony Kiedis real quick.
Okay, here we go.
During the Uplift era, the Uplift Mofo era. So they're both okay. Anthony Kiedis is strung out on fucking heroin. So is Hillel. They know he's strung out, but he presents it better than Anthony does, supposedly. And they make a pact, Hillel and Anthony do, that we're both on heroin. Let's get clean together and we'll be accountability buddies. So that's really never works. It's
accountability buddies? Is that what you just said?
Accountability buddies. Yeah, it's a stupid term.
Is that a real term?
I heard it once, like recently.
Accountability buddies?
I heard it once recently as like a joke, and I thought it was so stupid, so I thought I'd throw it out there. But yeah, so they were accountability buddies, and they were both strung out on heroin. That shit never works. When you're both strung out and you both try to quit cold turkey, you're going to have withdrawals. You guys are going to enable each other. It's never going to work. I understand you're young, but come on. It's silly boy talk. Obviously, because Hillel didn't make it. Passed. Oh, man. I just don't know.
I'm still reeling over accountability buddies.
I heard it on a podcast like a couple months ago.
I mean, it makes sense. I understand exactly what you mean when you say accountability buddies.
It sounds fucking dumb.
Yeah, but it sounds dumb. I'm going to laugh every single time, but I love it.
Yeah.
It's good stuff.
But that's essentially what Anthony and Hillel were. But yeah, anyway, let's get into our 3B. Yeah. What do you got for your 3B?
I think we did my 3B. Can't Stop was my 3B.
All right, let's get it. I mean, we don't have that much more to talk about, right?
We don't have that much more to talk about. I have 10 Bs. There's 6 songs I think are okays.
Okay,
2 bangers.
I have 9 Bs, but
yeah.
Few almost stinkers, but I do really want to talk about my 3B because
what is
that song is On Mercury.
Oh.
Kind of later in the record. Is this a B for you?
This is my 6B.
So this is a song I thought would be in your top 3 at least.
This is a song that I thought would be in your okays because
No, this is like
this is
a
a
rad
ska
ska
song.
song. Yeah, it's a rad. What? I like ska music. What are you talking about?
You're not a Tyler.
I'm a
Tyler,
ska-man.
Tyler Rebecca Anstead. You're going to sit here and tell me that you're a ska man. You are not a ska man.
I am a ska man.
Come on.
I like ska a lot. I may not be as
Come
big as you
on.
and Shady, but I like ska a lot. You're fucking silly if you think I don't.
I guess color
I'm a
me
ska
silly
man.
then. Color me silly.
I've
Color
colored
me
you silly
silly.
way too many times. But yeah, no, this is their 3B. Oh, Mercury. I totally. I mean, I don't even remember hearing the song prior to this week, and I was laughing. I thought, wow, this song, it kind of blew me away because I've obviously knew Zephyr Song and Cabron so well, but once this song came on so late in the album too, man, I was smiling. I was having a good time. This was so good. This was playlisted. Fuck, man, what a cool song.
For a Chili Pepper song, this is a fucking joke. Like this is a joke. Like
They're having a
Kiedis-
blast.
Absolutely, Kiedis. That's what I'm saying. Like Kiedis, Stadium Arcadium and further, this would never make it through. But this is like the last time that this kind of song would ever make it through. And I want to know whose idea this was. Because this is not Kiedis, and this is not Frusciante's idea. This had to have been Smith, or this had to have
Or
been
Flea. I think it was
Fleas. This had to have been Fleas.
because the trumpet, right?
Yes.
Because Flea plays the trumpet. So, and he plays the trumpet on a lot of Chili Pepper songs. He even played it on Francis the Cuck from Mars Volta. So he's known for playing the trumpet.
And he has
that's
a
what's on
trumpet
this
solo on this album. But yeah, there's 16 songs on this album. And so we're talking like, maybe 13, 14, 15 songs later, they're thinking like, oh, we're running out of songs. And Flea's like, oh, I got one. What you think about this? And they're all just sitting around like, okay, I guess we could write a song around that. And it's
fun.
very stereotypical like ska sounding. It's got your upstrokes here. It's a little off tempoed. It's a good solid ska song. Kiedis sings it, and it's kind of dumb, and it's fine.
It's not, and
It's fine.
It's not quite third wave ska.
No.
It's not quite as fast as third wave, but it's almost there. So it has that kind of it's exciting, but I don't know. It's hard to explain. It's a really good song though.
Yes.
And then that during that bridge, Chad has that really cool drum part. Not even a fill, just like this really cool drum part in the bridge leading into the last chorus and the outro and stuff. Dude, it's so good. And then there's even parts too. This is another example on this record, or really in their entire career, where Anthony sings in a very much higher register than he normally does, but they're very brief. Like certain words, like at the end of a certain line, he sings at like a higher register, which he never does, and it kind of takes you. It took me aback a little bit, and thinking, wow, like I didn't know he had it in him. But it just adds. It's these little nuances in this song that are just so good. And Flea's bass line is, it's kind of squirrely a little bit, but it's just enough to kind of keep it all together. And John doesn't do too much, soundscape wise, or doesn't do too much there. So this is almost like, this is just really an offbeat song. It's so weird. And then, yeah, sorry.
This is the most like non-John song on the album, because ska in itself is very complex sounding, but when you listen to one ska song, you realize that you've pretty much listened to a lot of the ska songs.
Yeah.
Because they're all damn near similar. And so for John to kind of take a step back, this is clearly a song that John did not think that would make the record, I guess, or did not like spearhead the I don't know, the writing of, because he takes a back seat. And that's like most guitarists in ska songs. It's about drum and bass, really.
Yeah.
And how crazy you can make the hook. And that's where John falls. And that's fine. And I think that's great. And it makes sense because it's one of the last songs on the album.
And kind of making this almost a throwaway song on the record. Reading about the recording of this record, they recorded a shit ton of songs. Like actually recorded a bunch of stuff. And we're not going to really talk about the B-sides on this that were actually released, but then there was like a handful of songs that were leaked onto the internet back in the day, and there was just a lot of fucking stuff written for this that didn't make the record that honestly fit the atmosphere of the record more so than this song. So it's very strange that this ended up on the record and not some of those B-sides or outtakes or whatever you want to call them from this era. It's very, very weird. And from what I was reading too, they've never played the song live. They never acknowledge this song. Nobody's ever talked about the song in an interview.
I can't imagine Kiedis ever wanting to do this ever again after this album.
And then people were saying, like, if you look on Wikipedia, if you look anywhere, there's no annotations about this song. There's nothing written about this song. It's like one of the most forgotten Red Hot Chili Pepper songs of all time.
It's the only ska song they've ever done.
Yeah, no, totally. That's what makes this record so great too, is that they touch upon so many different genres. I mean, we have the flamenco song of Cabron, we have, the ska on Mercury, we have, the kind of more funk-based, By the Way song, we have the electronic Zephyr song. There's so much going on this record. That's what makes this record so fucking good. Oh, man, it's awesome.
It's good stuff.
So, I do want to play a little bit of On Mercury because...
Play some On Mercury, baby.
It's so good. So here it is from the Red Hot Chili Peppers. There you go, On Mercury from the Red Hot Chili Peppers. The song that was accidentally put on this record.
Fair.
Yeah.
Fair.
Oh, dude, that is such a killer song, man. Oh, I love it. And that was your, 6B? 7B?
That was my 6B, yeah. Yep.
6B, okay.
Yes,
all right.
sir.
So what was your 4B, or what do you want to do?
Let's see, my 4B. See, I had to do everything in red because you told me to do everything in red. So my 4B was Don't Forget
so
Me.
Easy. Okay. All right.
You hated that song. That was a stinker for
so
you.
We did talk about that. Yeah, that's right. We did talk about that. So what's your 5B?
Throw away your television. Throw away your television.
You cut out so bad.
Yeah. Well, throw away your television is my 5B.
Okay. Let's get into that then.
Is that not a fucking B for you?
Oh no, it's my my 8B. Throw away your television. Yeah, it's my 8B.
Okay.
But the lyrics were a little cheesy, but it's a good song.
Yeah, I mean lyrics aside, whatever. But this is I don't know, the intro. It's got Flea and Smith. You haven't heard that in a while, right? Just them two kind of going at it. That's kind of cool. And then this is the song that I thought Frusciante was really channeling his inner Omar with them guitar noises. It's super dope. It's just a jam song. It's fun, and Frusciante's just kind of like, hey, let's see how many different parts I can do with weird noises. And it's fine.
Yeah, I agree. And this song actually reminds me, like, it could be a very, very distant cousin of Drunk Ship of Lanterns from the Mars Volta, in that the drums are very, like, tribal sounding. I mean, Chad plays more of, like, the toms and does that kind of tribal sounding stuff. John Theodore plays just the snare, just that constant roll for the entire 7 minutes. So you get that tribal sound. On top of that, you get that really awesome kind of bass line from Flea on both recordings, because he did both of those songs. And then on top of that, John's guitar playing on this song reminds me a lot of Omar's guitar on Drunk Ship, in that it's just like a few like chords or notes here and there. But on the Mars Volta one, they kind of ring out and there's a lot of reverb. On this one, it's generally a little bit of distortion, but it's very kind of just abrupt, but it's still like the same notes. They're just not drawn out the same way the Mars Volta is. I feel like there's a lot of connections between the two songs, if that makes any sense at all.
No, it does, because they're both hectic. And I mean, for the Red Hot Chili Peppers, this is a hectic song.
It is, yeah.
Dude, some of these parts are extremely heavy for this album, and like tonally, some of the heaviest they've done in like a couple of albums, because this song is incredibly heavy, and so that makes sense that I don't know there'd be like comparisons.
It's a very distant
drawn.
cousin,
yeah,
a very very distant cousin of Drunk Ship, and then also like you were saying, the guitar solo. this sounds very electronic based, but you know it's like it's John playing using different pedals, but it sounds almost like computer like, you know. And there is a Mars Volta song, and I'm trying to think of what song is it where Omar, dude, there's a solo in some Mars Volta song that sounds almost exactly like this, but it's maybe it's on. Do you know what I'm talking about? Maybe it's Serpentaxed.
I don't have notes for it.
Yeah, I know you don't have notes for it, but anyway, yeah, there's just so many similarities between Omar and the Mars Volta and this song. I think this is a great song, though. It is really great.
It's good, but it's your like 14B. It's your
It's my
17B.
8B. That's fine. There's just so
16
many cool
songs,
things in
17B.
between this. I mean, we talked about like the very unique songs, you know, already on top of the big hits of Can't Stop, Zephyr. We haven't talked about By the Way, but you know, there's so much in between this. But this,
Oh, wow,
this
we
is a
haven't
great song.
talked about By the Way. It's funny because Can't Stop is the cheesiest song on the album, like for sure. It is so fucking cheesy. It is so dumb, but it is just like the blueprint for writing a good funk song for just a bunch of guys that have already been writing like funk songs. But it is so fucking cheesy. Like Can't
know.
Stop is so cheesy.
I know. It's fucking
3B.
big.
All right, well let's get into By the Way, because we haven't talked
Okay.
about By the Way.
Yeah, let's do that. The opener, the title track, the first single. Whew, what a weird song. This is like the most traditional kind of Red Hot Chili Pepper song. The only really traditional Chili Pepper song on the record. It's fantastic though. The helicopter sound that Frusciante makes.
What is this on your Bs?
This is my 5B.
Okay.
5B. So what do you think about this one? What do you think? What do you got?
So this is my 8B.
Okay.
Dude, the intro is so cool. I love its simplicity. It's very clean, very crisp sounds. There's a lot of cool bass slides that are being thrown into it after. I love that Frusciante just kind of plays those palm mute chickas, and like you said, it makes that
Yeah.
chopper sound. And then it just like Flea and Chad is just allowed to let loose. And that is like my favorite part of the song.
Boom. That bass line is so the bass line is catchier. I feel like the bass line is catchier than the actual vocal melody.
Gotcha.
And that's pretty remarkable. The doom 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 boom 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 boom. It's so simple.
It is.
Oh,
It is. It's very funky. It's cool. It's what makes the Chili Peppers so hot, right? It's just, I don't know. It's very cool.
Yeah.
The bridge part is very cool, and it's funny because Kiedis is just doing like this caveman thing. The ooh ah, like, you know what I mean? The ooh ah, ooh ah. Like, it's so stupid. Oh my god, I cannot stand that he just does ooh ah. But I will never not sing it.
what's worse, the caveman in this song or Jonathan Davis scatting in Freak on a Leash?
Oh, that's tough.
I
That
knew
is
that would
tough.
get you.
No, it's the caveman for sure. Because at least Jonathan Davis scatting is like unique, and that's something that we haven't heard from like a white dude with dreadlocks from Bakersfield ever. But this one was just like, yeah, that's just stupid. Like, I don't know what to say. Ooh ah. That's what it is.
Stream of consciousness. That's what it
Is
is.
Anthony Kiedis didn't know what to say, so he just reverted to caveman instincts, whereas Jonathan Davis like inputted caveman instincts because he knew exactly what to do.
It's like Jonathan Davis is the genius of the cavemen.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Yes.
I was going to say Anthony Davis, but Anthony Kiedis.
Yes. Jonathan Kiedis and Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis. Wait, that's the guy.
Anthony Davis from the basketball player. Yeah,
player.
from the Lakers.
With the unibrow. Yeah.
Yeah. Great player, but ugly man.
No, not anymore, but.
Oh, okay. Fair. That's fair. But anyway, by the way, I tried to say I'd be there waiting for you. That is a great chorus. That is and then so it goes into it's those lines, and then Frusciante comes in with that wow wow. It's so cheesy. So cheesy, but I fucking love it. I really want to play this song now.
It's a good song.
It gets me so pumped up. So Here's By the Way from the Red Hot Chili Peppers. There you go, By the Way from Red Hot Chili Peppers. This is probably their best video they've ever put out too.
Ew.
I love this video.
I hate this video.
It's so bad, but it's so much fun.
It's so janky. I can't even watch it. Like, it makes me fucking sick. It's so shaky. Because it's so
it is very
shaky.
Yeah, it's like a handheld camera kind of thing. Yeah.
But it's not even like a Super 8 or Cloverfield type of shaky. It's like some guy who had fucking, I don't know, 0 arms filming this. It was horrible.
0.
Yeah, 0 arms.
I mean, none of their videos are great. I mean, Other Side, actually, that was a really cool video. But yeah, otherwise, they don't have very good videos. But this one was fun. A lot of chase sequences and just stupid shit. It was fun, though. I enjoyed it.
Waiting for...
Wow, 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 wow. I love that. I love that wah. It's so good. Even when Frusciante's doing the helicopter stuff during the verse, at the end of every line, you hear him stop the helicopter to do like a very slight wah sound to accommodate to play along with Anthony's part. It's the subtle things on this record that also make it so fucking good. Oh man, what a good song to just get pumped up to.
This is definitely not a song I would get pumped up to, but I would for sure play this a song on a pumped up playlist.
Lyrically too, I mean, much like everything else on this record, it's a lot of word vomit and noises.
I thought for sure, like, going into this week, that we were going to stumble upon like these crazy heavy, I don't know, metaphorical lyrics, but it was just like a kid writing lyrics with a stream of consciousness sort of approach.
It's like when a lot of bands go into the studio, especially vocalists, they'll do like a scratch track, where there's not actual words. It's just a melody without anything else. No words at all, just a melody with noises. And that's pretty much Anthony Kiedis, but he actually makes words instead of just making noises. He throws words out, but they're nonsensical.
Correct.
That's his style of writing.
Yeah.
And I think people look way too far into it because it's not that complicated at all.
No, I don't. Yeah, no, not at all. Nope. Nope.
All right. So what else do we have on this? What do you got? Or do you want to wrap it up?
That's all I got. I don't really have anything else as far as like pressing bangers. We hit all my like top 6, 7 bangers.
Okay. I mean, I agree with you. We touched upon, out of 16 songs off the main record, we've touched upon a lot. The only one we don't have to play it, but I do want to talk about it. It's the song Warm Tape, the second to last song on here.
Okay, all right.
Because
it's an okay song for me. That's an Angels and Airwaves sounding fucking intro here.
No, it's not not an Angels song.
This is an Angels and Airwaves sounding intro. That organ sound is irritating. Cool bass line, but fuck me, that organ sound is irritating.
It's not Angels sounding at all, but it is very cool, and it was actually written at a rehearsal. It was basically a synthesizer. It was just the synthesizer that John was playing, and that's how he wrote this song at a rehearsal. And then eventually they added more onto it, but pretty much the gist of the song was written at a rehearsal. And I think that's really cool. And it sounds so. This is another one of those songs that sounds so wildly different from everything the Chili Peppers have done. This is one of the most experimental songs they've ever done. Straight up, most experimental song.
Yeah, it sounds like Angels and Airwaves.
No, it doesn't, man. I don't know what. It does not.
It totally does. That for sure, like the first 30 seconds is 100% Angels and Airwaves.
Once it gets into the chorus, though, it kind of kills the whole kind of atmosphere of the
vibe.
song.
Yeah, I get it.
It kills the vibe with the guitar and the drums, everything that comes in. It really kind of ruins it. It's typical Chili Peppers, but yeah, no, I love that synth line. It just sounds so fucking cool. And apparently, when John was writing the song, he wrote that synth part, whatever. But he originally envisioned the song to have like a punk part, like a very fast punk part. And Rick Rubin actually shot it down completely. He said, "No, this sounds bad. if we're gonna put the song on here, we have to make it just the synth part with like the hook, no punk part at the end or any part in the song. So that was actually irritating reading it, because I'm really curious as to where John what John wanted out of this song, because it could have been something so weird and so could have been like really fucking cool had he added like this punk part, because he obviously knows what he's doing. And I feel like Rick is great, but Rick really kind of brings John down.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, Warm Tape, not going to play it, but I wanted to bring that up because it is definitely an outlier on this record. So with that said, what are your final thoughts? And we're also going to rank this. We're going to rank this with our world famous 3-point rating system, where 3 is a perfect album, 2 is a good album you're going to continue to listen to, 1 is a bad album, but give it a shot, and 0 is just the worst thing you've ever heard. So what do you got, Jeff? Go.
It's kind of interesting because like Rick Rubin is put on this pedestal where he can do no wrong. And I think with like the Red Hot Chili Peppers, he did a lot wrong. There's a lot of things that he could have done better. There's a lot of things that I think his ego got into his own production and his own kind of way of life. And I think John Frusciante is a good example of that, because I mean, for whatever it's worth, Mother's Milk, in our opinion, is so much better than Blood, Magic, Sugar, Sex, Booze. And I don't know. It's bizarre. It's bizarre because Rick Rubin is just, God, he's hailed as a god amongst producers. And even gods can fall. Even gods can fall. But as far as this album goes, this is fucking weird. This is such a weird album because it is so different than a lot of the things they've ever done, even with the Josh stuff, because the Josh stuff is the closest that they've come to recreating this sound as far as just like strict lackadaisical melodies go. But even the Josh stuff has been put on the back burner because Josh was not allowed to shine until like Danger Mouse came in. And even then, it was kind of just as like an afterthought. So this band has been predominantly revolving around Kiedis and Flea vibing off each other. And this is the first time that they've not vibed off each other, because Flea had a horrible time recording this album. And Kiedis is just, I don't know what the fuck he's doing on this album, because half the time makes no sense. And so now we're hearing like a John album featuring the Red Hot Chili Peppers. And it's fucking fantastic. Yeah. It's unbelievable. But it could have been better had Rick Rubin like shut his fucking mouth and everyone else, I don't know, followed his stuff, and then had John and Flea networked with each other and got on the same page. This album could have been better. And it's really, really good. It's my fucking third favorite Chili Pepper album, but it could have been better. But it's already like, I'm going to give this a 2.75 because it's so fucking good. But it could have been a
so
3.
Freaking good.
It could have been a 3. It could have been a beyond banger. I honestly think this could have been a beyond banger had everybody just opened their mouths and articulated their thoughts. So, yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
2.75. There you go.
2.75.
That's really high.
It's so goddamn good. I was shocked this wasn't in my top 2. I thought for sure my
3B.
I thought for sure it would have been Californication and then By the Way, as far as my top 2 are concerned.
Yeah, I thought By the Way was going to be your number 1. Then I thought Blood Sex was going to be your 2. You're going to be a cuck, and then put One Hot Minute as your number 3.
Oh, dude, One Hot Minute's so good. I cannot believe that's how good it was. One Hot Minute would not have been in my top like 5 had it not been for the fact that we dove into like Jane's Addiction and had a newfound respect for Dave Navarro. Because even you like respect Dave Navarro. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. I do.
Even you, like even that whole episode that we did, like you realize he is way better than we ever thought he was.
Yeah, he's very. Yeah, I was very surprised by that. But I still don't. I think Perry Farrell is just the kind of just he's the worst part of that band.
You
Much
love
like Kiedis is
stupid-
the worst part of this
You
band.
you love stupid, nasally, obnoxious vocals. Are your favorite?
I love Tom DeLonge. Yeah, I love Cedric. Yes, I know.
You love that shit.
I know.
That's all you
I
like.
agree. I totally agree. I'm a weird person. I like that weird high pitched shit. But Perry Farrell does not do it well. I think he's very obnoxious and not even in a good way. Because
Or in
he
a
doesn't
bad
really.
way.
Yeah, he's just no. He's not very good. He's the worst part of that band. Hands down, the worst part of that band.
That's
Much like Kiedis is the worst part of
that's
this
fine.
band. Now, all right, 2.75 you gave this record, by the way. This one, fuck, man. This was truly a diamond in the rough of their discography. This is one of the few. This is the only record where they really experimented with multiple, just weird genres, like we were talking about with the flamenco stuff, the ska stuff, the funk rock, which have been known for the ballad stuff. They go all over the place on this record, and I love it for that. I think it's really great. There are some almost stinkers, like I can't even think of the name of the song right now, but with that stupid bass riff. But dude, I fucking hate that so much. But I do agree with you. Had Rick Rubin stepped back a little bit more, had Flea been more a part of the songwriting, like if John and Flea had been the primary songwriters on this could easily have been the greatest thing that they have put out, like without a fucking doubt. But the thing is, like we talked about for Shantae and Anthony, they are the ones that collaborate with the songs, and it's really unfortunate because Flea obviously is so beyond talented. It's nuts. And one example of that, which we didn't bring up, but there is like this popular video online back in like 2005, around the Francis the Mute era, 2005, 2006 of the Mars Volta, when John and Flea were like embedded in that band. They played like an impromptu like improv gig at some cafe, I don't know, somewhere here in California. And it was Omar, John, and Flea, and they played for about 35 minutes. And it was pretty much just Flea like playing just like a cool bass line, and then Omar and John were just playing over it. And obviously John was just like smoking Omar. Just Omar didn't even stand a chance. But it was still cool because Omar was just kind of following along to what Flea was playing, and John was just kind of like ripping it up, doing his own thing. And have you ever seen that video?
No.
It's so fucking cool, man. It's seriously like 35 minutes, but it's just them improvising and just jamming together without any sort of percussion. Like Flea is essentially the percussionist, but dude, it's so sick. And had that been a collaboration of John and Flea on this, it could have just been unfucking real. I don't know, man, but blame it on Rick, blame it on Anthony. I don't know.
I blame it on Rick.
But with that
to be
being
honest.
said, I blame it on both really. Maybe a little bit on Flea too, because Flea is he loves Anthony so much that he would never want to betray Anthony.
they've been together for so long.
Exactly, and that's kind of ruins the dynamic of this band, because had Flea kind of abandoned Anthony a little bit and gone more toward John, they could have made an amazing record.
But you
But he
can't
has
like
such
abandon
loyalty.
your boy like that.
But he has such loyalty to Anthony, which is very admirable, obviously. It's very admirable, but it comes to a point where, Anthony doesn't provide a lot to the band outside of being a frontman.
Barely
Just saying.
that.
Just saying. With all that said, I think this is an amazing record, and I'm going to have to give this a 2.5 only because some of the almost stinkers, because I have those 3 almost stinkers, and then a few okay songs. But the songs that hit, they hit so fucking hard. So damn good. I love this record. It's amazing. It's awesome. John Frusciante did an amazing job on it. So there you go. 2.5 out of 3 for me.
Okay.
Oh, man, what an episode this has been. This has
What
been a
an
long one.
episode, baby.
Whew, this has been one of our longer ones. Holy shit.
Holy shit.
All right, so you got anything else or what? I guess not. So
No, that's it.
go to Apple Podcasts, iTunes, wherever you go. I don't know anymore. Go there, rate, review, and subscribe to us. Follow us on social media at Asinine Radio. And once again, thank you all for listening. Next week is going to be a real departure for the podcast. We're going to be doing something we've never done before. So stay tuned for that. And thank you all for listening again. And that's it. That's all.
This is their best pop punk record.
No, Coaster is. But that's fine. You can keep saying the wrong thing.
I don't ever want to feel like I did that day. Take me to the place that I love. Take
Dude,
me
I
pretty
fucking
far
hate this.
away. I don't ever want to feel.
Fucking hate it.
He does all this little.
He's so obnoxious. So obnoxious.
Can't stop, addicted to the shindig. I hate Anthony Kiedis. That's probably your entire thoughts this week. By the way, I'll try to see I'll be there.
Waiting for
Waiting for you.
He's so annoying. Oh my god.
Card shop.
Anthony Kiedis is so annoying.
Like literally just fucking wait for him all along.
Yeah.
It is unbelievable. It is unbelievable. It is. I don't care. It's boring. And
it's whatever.
I had no idea that this sample from Butterfly by O-Town was
yeah.
this.
No, Crazy Town. Crazy Town.
Crazy Town. O-Town,
Yeah.
Crazy Town. I don't give a fuck what town it's from. Yeah. What was O-Town? Actually, it wasn't O-Town.
O-Town was the boy band.
What was
O-Town
O-Town?
was the boy band.
What was Crazy Town? That was a boy band too, was it not?
No, Crazy Town was like the new metal band.
Was that a
That
band?
did, yeah, Crazy Town was the new metal band.
They just heavily sampled this thing and their
They
biggest
sampled
single.
the one song, yeah.
You
Much
love
like Kiedis
stupid.
is the worst part of this.
You
band.
you love stupid, nasally, obnoxious vocals. Your favorite.
I love Tom DeLonge. Yeah, I love Cedric. Yes, I know.
You love that shit.
I know.
That's all you
I
like.
agree.